What's up, everybody? Elke here, and I'm working on an album mixing and mastering for a client, and I thought I would share some of the plugins that I like to use. Hopefully, this helps you see what kind of tools are available, and maybe even you might want to get some of them. At the college, I teach recording arts, and I try to teach students how to get the most out of stock plugins. But it's definitely an advantage to have some real high quality plugins that you can go to that you know are going to help you get a great sound, that are flexible, that you really know inside and out, that you know how to manipulate and get a great sound out of. And some of them are just really, they have a unique character, so it's like a kind of invaluable to invest in certain plugins that help you achieve the sound that you like to get. All right, so some of the stuff you're going to see is UAD, of course. I work with UAD. I have the full UAD suite, which is everything by UAD, and it's awesome. There's just so many great plugins in there. I'll show you a few of them. Some of the stuff I like to use is FabFilter. FabFilter Pro Q and Pro C are like every mix. They sound amazing. And then I'll show you my favorite reverb plugin, which, oh man, I use it every mix. There's a lot of options and different reverbs in it. So it's super versatile and just sounds like really amazing. Every time I put this on at school, when we do a big mix in the studio, the students just trip out like, wow, that sounds amazing. And it really does. So check that out coming up in this video. And I hope you dig it. I hope it helps you and you learned something. And if you need mixing or mastering services while I'm on summer break, hit me up. And if you want to come take a class at Butte College, it's Recording Arts, Music 51 through 55. And we do everything from studio recording to beat making and mixing. And we have a lab, we have a studio. It's great. All right. Hope this helps you. Peace. Okay, so here we are in the mix project, and this is my mix window here. And as you can see, a couple things. First of all, there's not a ton of plugins. And part of the reason is because the plugins I'm using are really high quality and a little goes a long ways. Also, I don't like it to sound too digital or over-processed. I find when you use too many plugins, it starts to be too processed sounding and you lose some of the natural quality of the recording. Okay, so anyways, besides that, let's just look at a couple plugins real quick. So I mentioned the UAD stuff, so I'll just show you a couple of the UAD ones I like. So I have the full UAD suite, but here's one that I really like. It's called the API Vision Channel Strip. And here I'm just using the legacy one. It's great because it's got EQ, it's got compression, gate. You can actually do more with the gain here. There's like in the full one, you could flip the input and get some distortion and saturation. Really cool plugin. Another UAD I like to use is, let's see. Ooh, I'm using the Brigade Chorus on here too. That's a fun one. That's just to get a little vibe on one of the guitars. Here's an API 2500, and that is a parallel drum compression. And it is just awesome. It's a model of the API 2500 buzz compressor. What else? I like the SPL Transient Designer. Get a little attack and sustain out of the snare. This is great for snare. And I'll show you one more. So the Neve EQ. There's channel strips, there's all kinds of Neve stuff in here, but just the simple EQ is super powerful, and you don't have to use a lot of EQ, boost or cut, to get a good change out of the sound. You know, it affects the sound pretty dramatically with a small move. Okay, I will show you, how about this one? I'll show you one more, and on the stereo bus, I really like using this ATR 102 a lot. It's just adds like a nice tape saturation and kind of glues the whole mix together. I change up my stereo out bus a lot, just depending on the style of music and the project. But that one seems to work on a lot of different styles. And then one of the plugins that's stock that's invaluable is the loudness meter. I always put that last on my stereo bus to make sure I'm not smashing LUFS and limiting my dynamic range and losing punch and fullness and like just getting distortion from pushing it too loud. Okay, cool. So there's some UAD stuff. The FabFilter stuff talked about is the Pro Q, and a little goes a long way here. This is really versatile EQ. You can turn any band into a dynamic band and use it for like a de-esser or to decrease harsh frequencies when they pop up. You can use zero latency, you can use linear phase, natural phase. There's just a lot of really cool features about this that I'm not going to get into all the features, but FabFilter Pro Q is just amazing. I use it a lot. And then the other FabFilter one that I like to use is the Pro C. Where is that at? Here it is. So the Pro Comp. And this thing is just a great sounding compressor. And it can go from really natural and pure to really, aggressive if you want. And I like the fact that there's oversampling. Another invaluable plugin is my stock gain plugin because that gives me a phase invert and I can check phase on everything, and especially drums, and get stuff in phase. So there's some UAD, some FabFilter, and then I said I would show you my favorite reverb, and here it is. It's called Altiverb. Altiverb is amazing. It has a ton of different stuff within it. It's got gear, it's got rooms, studios, spaces, coliseums. It's crazy. Here I'm using an EMT 140. It's the same one. Let's see. Here we're using a Roland RE201. Here we're using a room, like a studio room. So you could see Altiverb is helping me create a lot of the spaces. Chambers, it's just awesome. Here's another one, another chamber. So Altiverb is really crucial in my mixes because I like to create depth and space. And when people record in small spaces or even at home, it's nice to put them in a really nice sounding studio with Altiverb and make it sound really professional. Okay, so there's some of the plugins I like to use. Let me know what you like to use, and I hope this helped you out, and happy mixing. Peace.